From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up! Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more Corner Pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Coming up on today's show, should you root for your rivals? Is Alex Atkins a weak link? Somebody thinks so. One of the people on this show takes great umbrage with that. Wake Up Warchant is presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Tallahassee, Florida. CPTallybar.com is the website. 2475 Appalachian Parkway, that is the physical address of this fantastic establishment. And on Fridays, the lunch special from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. is the chicken strip basket. Hand-breaded, served with a dipping sauce, or tossed in a sauce of your choosing. Comes to the side dish of your choosing as well. Straight fries, curly fries, onion rings, potato salad, coleslaw, broccoli, side salad, tater tots, or freshly cooked potato chips. Your options. You can't go wrong. It's all over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. And don't forget at 5 o'clock, meet and greet. Corey Clark, Jeff Cameron, Tom Lane, Gene Williams, maybe me, maybe Matt Lasser, maybe Ira. Hanging out over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Come out and say hi. Live music as well. And then Hotel Indigo, home for your pregame show. Doors open 12:30. And then a postgame show with Tom Lang and Gene Williams going on about 10-15 minutes after the game. Pull the curtain back a little bit here, folks, with some scheduling stuff going on around the folks that do this show. We decided to break out the Renegade Express from the other day into two shows. So you heard the first part on yesterday's show. This was recorded a little bit earlier than usual for a Friday release and publish, but nothing has really developed here for us to be dated. So we're going to go ahead and rock and roll and let this one fly. So it'll be fun and entertaining, as it usually is. So it's like the second part of the Renegade Express. It's all coming up. Let's get to it. Noel Tiggity 11. Wake up, gentlemen. I just got done chugging vitamin energy. I mowed my yard at full sprint and atomic suplex my neighbor for making the remark, "You missed a spot." I am pumped for this week now. On to the important stuff. Will Aslan be pumping gas on all road trips from now on? No, I refuse to touch a gas pump if somebody else is in my presence. I will not do that. Do you think the number of new transfers starting along the offensive line has contributed to the run game not quite gelling yet? Are we getting to the point with the portal that, much like basketball, it may take teams a few games to really know what they are in football also? A statement for the fan base. Have fun and enjoy the ride. A bumpy ride beats the heck out of going into a ditch. Amen,
also,
brother.
enjoy the nerves, too. Like, isn't that a fun part of being a college football fan? I just remember it from back in the 90s. Like, you'd get real nervous for games or if it was close at halftime. And it's cool to not be apathetic again. Not that Florida State has a necessarily apathetic fan base. But, there were times when, over the last 5 years, especially the previous 4, where you're like, whatever. Yeah, I have to imagine. It just got so bad. It's cool to care again.
Yeah.
Like, really care, because as Wax said in the last question, you do not know, really. There's no guarantee that you'll ever have a shot like this again. I foresee Norvell putting together a program that routinely is one of the top 12 in the country. So you should have chances to get to the playoff and see what happens, get to the tournament. But still, it's cool that you're playing a month with real weight to it. That's it's neat. It's been a minute.
Has the offensive line, has the new blood contributed to maybe some of the woes? I don't want to subscribe to that, because I believe that they believe when they went and got Casey Roddick, when they went and got Jeremiah Byers, when they went and got Keandre Jones, that they ultimately upgraded over what they had last year. So I don't want to say, well, they did that under the guise of that it's going to take a few games to get it all figured out. So I don't know where that disconnect is, because I can connect the dots. I get it, everybody. Like, this guy left, they replaced it with this guy, and now the running attack is not nearly as good as it was. Some of this has got to be on the backs too, man. There cannot possibly be 25 rushing attempts and no creases to go through. There has to be a better trusting in what's there and seeing it, or some better you've got the ball in your hands, man. You can control what's going on because this is not an abject failure in an offensive line in front of you to break some plays out as well. So I understand what you're saying, but I'm not ready to go to that point yet. Now, if they struggle again against a team like Virginia Tech with an undersized,
this is such a big litmus test for them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the Boston College game, they were running fine, I thought, until Jordan got hurt, and that's not an excuse. There's a lot of teams that can run well if their quarterback doesn't run the ball, but I just think everything kind of broke down after that. And then Clemson's Clemson. But I would like to see if they struggle again against Virginia Tech again, if they have 70 rushing yards in the third quarter and all their yards are coming through the air, even as they're trying to run it, then you're going to be worried that, okay, this is what this offense is going to be this year. If it's going to move the ball at all, it's going to have to be through the air.
I am Ira. Name of the poster. Hello to the great Aslan and the legend that is Corey Clark. I haven't posted it forever, but it is time. Over under Jordan Travis 350 passing yards.
Under.
Yeah, that's a big, big number, man.
Yeah. He's probably only done that once in his career.
Yeah. I mean, 340 would be a great night, and that's still under, so I'll take the under. FSU rushing yards 175. Yeah.
I'm going to say over. I look, if they come out and we'll know so much about what their plans are for the rest of this season by how they come out in this game. If they come out and they're okay throwing it 45 times, well, then they have made a decision. We'll run when we can, but we are dialed into the passing game, and that's what's going to carry us the next 8 weeks. But I personally think they're going to try to make a commitment to the run. And that's why I think they'll go over.
Okay. I'd say the under, I think, on 175.
Right.
Florida State defense, yards surrendered 350, over under.
Under.
Okay, they have, I don't know. I don't even have their tab open anymore. I was going to see what they've been averaging this year, but I don't have it readily available. Will this team look completely different this week, putting together a complete performance from start to finish? Virginia Tech's got a pulse.
Yeah.
If it was Syracuse, I would say yes. Because I think in your guys' eyes, and my eyes to a certain degree too, complete performance to me is utter domination. It's building off what they did the second half of last year. It's doing what they did to LSU in the fourth quarter. I think Virginia Tech has a little bit of a pulse. That quarterback's going to be able to string together some first downs. I don't know if they're going to be able to play keep away to the level that Boston College was, but there's probably just not going to be that level of opportunity to really throttle a team because they've got a pretty capable quarterback, and their defensive coordinator knows you a little bit, so maybe he'll make it a little bit tricky for a bit. So I think when we think about complete performance, Corey, we just think about absolutely smashing and annihilating a team. And Syracuse might be that tomato can. I don't think Virginia Tech is.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We will see. R. Shap, can y'all ask some players what they think about their tomahawks on their helmets, and do they get excited to get them or have competitions with other players about who has more tomahawks? Yeah.
It never even dawns on me because we don't see them in helmets. When they practice, they have those cushy things on. What are those called?
The Guardian caps.
Yeah. So you don't get to see how many tomahawks they even have on their helmet.
Not everybody, just the linemen, I think. But yeah, they wear like practice helmets. Their game helmets at practice. Yeah, they don't have tomahawks on their practice helmets.
No, but I'm saying if I saw even the helmet on them, like the Florida State emblem, I would be like, oh yeah, it would just dawn on me more. But does Florida State even do tomahawks anymore in their helmets? They don't wear their uniforms anymore. So maybe they don't do that. Maybe they're taking the spear off. Actually, I want to go back to that question. I do think it would be cool one time to see the helmet with the state and the state of Florida like that emblem. I really do like that one.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
But the spear is awesome.
It is. Derek, XDQ004, wake up. Missed a few weeks, but wanted to get a question in for the week. We appreciate you, Derek. What is the best Virginia Tech game you have attended? What is the best one overall? I have only attended one. It was 2018.
Yikes.
I will recuse myself from answering this one, Corey.
There's two to choose from. There's obviously the national championship game. I was at that. That's the answer. But that almost doesn't feel like it should count. That's its whole separate thing. It's Michael Vick and Peter Warwick. Virginia Tech was up in the fourth quarter. It was a close game, and you had Winky hitting. Who did he hit? Was it? I think it might have been Dugans.
It was.
Yeah, for the go-ahead score, and then they kind of they put it away there in the fourth quarter. But the game in 1990, Aslan, I think I brought it up on the show before. I'm sure I have. Florida State was like number 3 in the country. This was before Virginia Tech was anything. It was like Beamer's second or third year. You had blown them out each of the last 2 or 3 years, however many times you'd played them. They hadn't been close. And then Brad Johnson's the starting quarterback. It's before Casey had taken over, Casey Weldon. And in the second quarter, you're down 21-3 at home.
Correct.
You play Miami the next week. And clearly they were looking ahead. They were getting beat. They were getting run over. Florida, ironically, Virginia Tech had like a 6'8" receiver they just would throw jump balls to in the end zone. And then you came back and won. And Terrell Buckley had a crazy pick 6 to give you the lead. They came back. You had a fumble return for a touchdown to put the game away. That was a really, really exciting game. I'm going to say that because I'm gonna recuse the championship game from counting. Okay. And I was at that game. It was a really fun game for teenage Corey Clark.
Do you know who recovered that fumble in the fourth quarter to ice it?
Errol McCorby.
This guy.
And it was I'm going to guess it was like a 76-yard fumble return.
77.
Oh, right. It's right there. It's right there. And that was the first season because college football used to be so dumb. That was the first season, literally. 1990 was the first season they allowed defenses to pick up fumbles and run with them. You couldn't return fumbles otherwise.
What? It was a muff punt? You couldn't advance the ball?
Yeah, right. If you strip sacked the quarterback and he fumbled, you could pick it up and run to the end zone and run to a concession stand. It wouldn't matter. You got the ball right where you recovered it.
Oh my God!
You could not advance a fumble. You could not return a fumble for some reason. In 1990 was the first reason they brought that rule, got rid of that dumb rule, and Errol McCorby scored a touchdown because of it.
There we go. Island Chief, wake up! Virginia Tech coming to town. I only attended 2 Taggart coach games: Boise State, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech in 18.
Two memorable ones.
Yeah, Virginia Tech in 18 was the last game we were ranked until week 5 of last season.
Yeah.
Whoa, those are tough times.
Yep.
Is there any unit on this team that is playing better than you 2 expected coming into the season? By season's end, which unit do you think is trending to have improved the most?
No, but see, that makes it sound like you're disappointed. The wide receivers aren't playing any better than I thought because I thought they were really good. You know what I mean? Like Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson are great. I thought the tight ends were going to be really good. They are. The defensive line is playing up to my expectations. The corners are playing up to my expectations. So you know what I mean? Like
safeties, for better or worse, are kind of playing to our expectations.
Yeah. Well, no. With Noles, it was a little bit dicey with Noles back there. But
that's what I'm saying. Like we knew they didn't have a lot of depth there, and
correct.
The depth got tested, and that's what it looked like.
But to say nobody's playing exceeded expectations, it makes it sound like they've all had subpar performances or been disappointing, and I just don't think that's true. The one position for me, well, 2 I guess, but they're interconnected, and we've already talked about it, is the O-line and the running backs. They have not played. Obviously, Benson hasn't been what we hoped he'd be to start the season, but he's still got plenty of time. He didn't pick it up really until last year around this time, maybe even a little later. And then, Toafili had the fumble and, whatever. He did draw that face mask. That was critical. But, I just don't think the running backs have been as dynamic, not even close to what they can be and what they will be. What about special teams, the kickers? Yeah, I'd say Mastromanno and Fitzgerald have both been better than I expected, I guess.
Yeah, and
Mastromanno's been great.
I think we had high expectations and hopes. We had high hopes for the interior of the defense.
Yeah.
But they're playing maybe even a little bit better than what,
that's a good call. I didn't think they would be this I know it's only 4 games, but essentially impossible to run on up the middle. Yeah. They just build a wall. It's a wall. There's nowhere to go. I did not foresee that, especially when the Darrell Jackson news came. But they've just been really good so far.
I guess at this point, probably Corey's first point, I guess, by season's end, which unit would be trending to have improved the most? I think if they're playing to the capability on offense, would probably point to what? The running backs finally playing as well as we thought, or maybe the offensive line paving it a little bit better. So,
or maybe more receivers getting involved. But overall, these receivers, I know they dropped a few or had some rough moments or some donuts in the case of Keon against Boston College and Johnny against Southern Miss. They've been really good. I can promise you the Virginia Tech defensive coaches aren't like, man, these receivers kind of suck. They've been a same with Jordan. They're like, man, this quarterback, he might just light us up. We've got to really play well.
VitaminEnergy.com. Promo code Warchant BOGO. Warchant BOGO. Use it to buy one item and get an item of equal or lesser value for absolutely free. Be assured, everybody, now that Vitamin Energy has been clinically tested and clinically proven, that each shot will increase mental focus, will increase happiness, will increase your energy levels, and much more. All in one little shot, less than 2 ounces, in fact. 260 milligrams of caffeine to power you throughout the day. 7 hours likely of powering through the day when you take a shot of Vitamin Energy. Remember, they got the Focus Plus, they've got the Mood Plus, Workout Plus, Burner Plus, Vitamin B12 enhancement, Vitamin D enhancement. All these options are available over at vitaminenergy.com in their variety packs. So, you don't necessarily have to commit to one if you don't know exactly which part of your life you want to enhance. You can get the variety pack. Can't go wrong with that. And when you buy one of those variety packs, you can buy the other variety pack for absolutely free. Free. It's incredible. VitaminEnergy.com. Promo code WARCHANTBOGO, B-O-G-O. Shake it and take it, everybody. All right, Corey, let's hustle. We've hit the hour mark here. Some people like it.
Good grief. Let's go. Quick. 20 seconds.
P. Tingler, 81. Wake up. I listen to you guys every day on my way to work. Living 30 minutes from Blacksburg and living through the aftermath of the 18 game. I'm hoping it's over by halftime. Maybe send them a case of Vitamin Energy Mood Plus. They're going to need it after the beatdown in Tallytown Saturday.
Okay. All right.
Do the three of you, Aslan, Corey, and Ira, ever do road trips in the car together? If so, after hearing about Aslan and Ira's road trip back from Death Valley, is it majority rules on when and where you stop, or does Ira pull seniority? Love the show. Keep up the great work.
That's just a way to call Ira old. No, Ira does not. At least when I'm in the car with him, he doesn't.
No, it's very democratic. Yeah.
Yeah, we would go back and forth. I don't know that we've never.
I don't think
we've never been on a road trip together. We've been in the car together, like if we meet up to drive to the stadium or something.
Yeah.
We've never had like a hours long road trip together. The three of us.
Yeah. And in defense of all parties involved in that debacle, if we want to call it that, we went to Clemson together, Ira and I, like in 2021. We stayed in Atlanta. We met up with Corey, and then all three of us drove together. Then we drove back to Corey's. Corey went home. Ira and I finished out. We stopped in Macon. It was unprecedented going to Clemson at noon. So we really didn't know what to do, and it was like, man, are we gonna try to drive back home to Tallahassee? And it was like, yeah, we might as well. Shout out to Corey for really being the party planner of all this. He was like, stay in Greenville, you idiots, which we did.
Yeah.
He didn't say idiots, but he was like, why don't you guys stay in Greenville? It's better off that way, which was good. And then I'm like, all right, we'll stop in Macon again on the way back. And he's like, dude, you'll get to Macon at 10 o'clock at night. You might as well just finish it out. And it's like, yeah, we might as well. So, had it been a 3:30 game, we would have followed.
It's a little dicier, yeah.
Yeah, we would have followed the game plan that we had done in 2021. We would have stopped in Macon and been fine. But, yeah, we're working, which is what Ira pointed out on the way back down with him. It's like, yeah, you folks get done watching a game. It's like, all right, let's get back in the car. Let's stop and get gas, eat food, and then let's go home. We're trying to get the War Chant wrap up presented by Vitamin Energy. Ira's got to read Corey's column. Ira's also got all the wheels turning in his head about wanting to do his 3-2-1 and wanting to write a story. So there's a lot of things going on where it's not just like, all right, let's have this really efficient, effective ride back. But maybe next time I'll try to map it out a little bit better so somebody doesn't get called out on the other's podcast. And
right.
We have
you
Civil
started
War.
it. You started it.
Well, I thought it would, whatever. Birmingham, FSU. Beham, FSU. Wake up. Hello from the Magic City of Birmingham, birthplace of the great Bobby Bowden.
There you go.
Fast start seems to be the key to the game this week. If we win the coin toss, should Mike Norvell take the ball and score first?
No.
Okay. I like that question. Given the defense in early, just no, don't go away. If there's any identity to this team, it's just going to be we defer to the second half.
Well, but also, they have done a good job against LSU. Didn't they score on their first drive coming out? Clemson, they scored a field goal to tie the game. It's just knowing you get the ball to start the second half in a close game is a good thing. And so
they got a field
the Boston
goal,
College game,
field goal against LSU to start the second half.
Yeah, field goal against LSU, field goal against Clemson, touchdown against Boston College.
Yeah.
They do pretty well coming out at halftime, and it's just I think no, you want the ball to start the second half. It's like deferring in overtime. You want to get the ball last in overtime. You just do. But that said, you don't have to be so bad to start the game defensively. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, they're so bad defensively. Why not try to take the ball, go down the field, score, and then you have a lead? But also, the defense can just go get that stop. And then you're going to have a lead, and then you can finish the first half with points like you did against Boston College, and then start the second. All right, Clemson. That's a better example, right? Like Clemson, you were down 17-7 with 2 minutes to go in the first half. By the time Clemson really got the ball back with a chance to do anything, it was 17-17. So it worked out.
Bradley Moss, wake up. With all the talk about polls, resume, strength of schedule, I know we need the rest of our opponents to be as strong as possible, but I'm a little torn. We need the teams mainly like rivals Clemson, Miami, and Florida to have good seasons. So if we beat them, the wins would boost our resume. But at the same time, we don't want them to do well, obviously, and pick up any kind of momentum in recruiting and things of that nature.
Right.
What should we be rooting for? Would love to get your guys' thoughts. Thanks, and as always, go Noles.
I think you always want to root for pain, like the immense amount of pain that you can that your rival fan base can experience. Maybe not with Clemson, because you've already played them. But I think maybe you'd want to play Miami if they had 3 losses and you give them their 4th loss, and they don't have as much belief. Maybe you want to give Florida its 7th loss. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's going to be hard for you guys to live that life. Like, if you win your games, you're going to win the ACC. You're going to be in the playoff if you win all of them.
Right.
So at that point, what would have been the point of even rooting for Miami or Florida to have good seasons? You just don't want that. I think you want your 2 main in-state rivals to perpetually be 6-6. That's what you should be rooting for. I think, personally.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I just think with the schedule this year, you need some quality wins. So you want one of them, and I think you don't want it to be Florida, and then behind that would be Miami, be worst case, and like Clemson would be a little bit more. You can stomach that a little bit better because you don't maybe go as much head to head with them. But I don't think they're that likely to, right the ship and end up being a 10-2 team this year.
Right.
Like Miami probably is that team. And for the sake, you talked about having those nerves and the glory dynasty days of like enjoying these wins. Like that's what made playing Miami and beating Miami so enjoyable, is that they were villains and they were great. And I would like that. But yeah, like let's not get carried away and have Miami mess around and be an 11-1 team. That wouldn't be great because like Mario's going to stick around there for a few years. Like Billy Napier, yeah, let Florida lose and be horrible and he gets fired and it's funny and everything.
Right.
Which you still want Miami to be horrible, but like you need one more quality win because it seems like the LSU one is not going to hold up, and I'm not sure Clemson will either. So I was never the guy that was I hope Miami or I hope Florida comes into the game 11-0 and we can derail their national championship hopes. I was the Corey Clark pain. I want pain.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe just for this year.
Nope.
Miami's 7-1.
Okay. They can have 1 loss coming in. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. But and after
Which
that,
is probably the most they can have anyway, if you look at that. I guess they play Clemson. Do they play Clemson before Florida State? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. This show's gone too long.
Okay.
Next question.
NYC, Noel, wake up, gents. It's game week. After reading Corey's article on things we'd like to see, I would like to add, how about quarterback pressure from the front 4 without having to blitz? It was it's glaringly missing from the Clemson game. And in all honesty, something I thought we would see more of. How can a group as talented and deep as this bunch kind of be pedestrian in this area? Well, they're double-teaming Jared and, getting the ball out of their hands maybe a little bit faster than usual, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I think the front 4 has been okay with pressuring. It hasn't been feasting. But, again, I thought they were, when you look at the interception they had against Boston College, Jared Verse is tackling him as he throws it. Same thing in another game. Maybe that's the Southern Miss game. He almost had the strip sack against Jaden Daniels. Briggs barely played. So make of that what you will. Like getting him maybe closer to full health is a bigger deal than we certainly would have realized in August. If he was even hurt, I legitimately don't know. That's not me being coy. I don't remember. I can't remember. But I just think that they've been fine. They just, to his point, they do need to be a little bit better. But I think you're about to play Virginia Tech, Syracuse, and Duke. I think they will be better against these three outfits coming up.
Also, I have to mention it again, as I did a year or so ago. Florida State has the best tradition in all of college football, the best traditions, plural. But I have to point it out yet again. Miami is not an automatic sod game. You both said it was on last week's show, and I was disappointed again. But they don't deserve that type of recognition from us. I understand it might be hard to hear about FSU traditions from a Yankee, but that's how it irks. Listed. I don't know. That didn't make sense, NYC. No, get better at your grammar. Aslan, you can look at...
Hey, take it easy.
Aslan, you can look it up again, as you did last time. Thanks for the great work, and until next time, go Noles. We love NYC, Noles. He's got the Paul Gleason two-month spender.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, sorry. I got it wrong again. Again, hey, it's all coach's discretion ultimately, apparently. So it's a fluid situation. Nole 23, we got a few more, Corey, I promise. But this is a long one. I should have probably pared it down. I'm going to read all of it.
I wonder why they only did it for Florida and not Miami.
It's a good.
When you think about the worst losses in Florida State history, and I know they've had some painful ones against Florida too, just like Florida has with Florida State, but the most painful by far are in the Orange Bowl. So why would the Swamp be an automatic sod game but not Miami? I want to know the reasoning for that.
Okay.
NYC, no. Get back to me on that, dog. Like, you're right. We apologize. But why? Why is Florida an automatic sod game and Miami isn't?
Okay, Nole 23. Man, I'm so thirsty, and my bottle of water is out of water, and we got 3 more questions, and this one's 3 paragraphs, but we're going to try.
Okay.
Nole 23, wake up. I have a question that I haven't seen brought up. Why does the Warchant staff continually question Adam Fuller's ability to coach the defense, yet Alex Atkins gets a hall pass? Florida State's offensive line has been the team's weak link for all 4 years that Alex has been with the team.
Yikes.
However, all we hear from the Warchant staff is what a great coach Atkins is while continually questioning Fuller's competency. While I agree the defense can be a problem at times, all 3 losses last year were on the offense, and if the Noles hadn't pulled it out against Clemson, the loss would have been because of the offense disappearing in the second half and being outscored by the defense in regulation. If you go back to all 3 losses last year, the offense went 5 to 6 series in a row without scoring. Florida State didn't score on the last 5 possessions against Clemson and only gained 70 yards in those 5 series, 41 on the final drive. In each of those games, the offensive line was overwhelmed. While the offensive line is better than it was 4 years ago, it has not improved the way the rest of the team has. I don't remember the last game that I thought the offensive line was better than the opponent. Maybe Southern Miss, but definitely not Clemson, Boston College, LSU, Oklahoma, Florida, etc. I was watching ACC Network last week. They said Miami has completely revamped their offensive line and has gone from a weakness to a strength in 1 stinking year. And yet our offensive line continues to be the weak link. Thoughts?
I disagree. I don't know how else to say it. They finished last year, man, running for over 200 yards in 7 straight games. That's the first time in program history they had done that. And you're going to say that Alex Atkins is the weak link? Admitting how bad it was 4 years ago and what they took over, which was the worst Power 5 offensive line in the United States. It was an absolute train wreck. It was an embarrassment what that offensive line had become at the end of Jimbo's tenure and then all of Willie's tenure. It was an absolute abject horror show. And then last year, they finished off the season, again, including against Clemson, rushing for over 200 yards in 7 straight games and having efficiency-wise somewhere in the neighborhood of the number 10 to number 12 offense in the country. When 2 years prior, it had been, number 80. And in 2018, just 2018, DeAndre Francois is flipping Abdul Bello's hand away like, pick me up, man. I'm tired of getting hit. And then 4 years later in that same building, you beat them 38-3 and run for over 250 yards. Alex Atkins is a big part of that. Now, does Adam Fuller get too much grief from well, everyone. It's not just the Warchant staff. It's everyone. I think Ira and I are a little, and Aslan too, are a little easier on him than other people in on our site or in our organization. But, I certainly wouldn't say that. I don't know how you would look and say Alex Atkins is the weak link. Now, the offensive line has not performed well this year, but what he did with the offense, so maybe he's plateaued. Sure, maybe it's down in the ditch now. But from what he did, what they had in 2020 to what they became in 2022, when they finished off again until the Oklahoma game was 7 straight games of 200 yards rushing. Oklahoma game, they didn't rush for many yards, I don't think, maybe over 100. But they threw for over 400 and won the game. And they've still scored 30 points in like 10 straight games, which is the second longest streak in the country. So the OC is doing okay. Is that fair, Aslan?
Absolutely.
All right.
2 more.
That was just weird. It's just weird. Like, I get that they haven't played well this year.
Well, here's the thing. Can't you defend Alex or Adam Fuller without putting down Alex Atkins?
Yeah, that's just bizarre. And also, I mean, look, at the end of the day, unlike the defense, where Mike Norvell has very little say over it, he's not a defensive coach. He's been an OC. He calls the plays in this offense. I think when it comes to criticizing the offense, game plan wise or play call wise, we typically mention Norvell because he's the one calling plays. Alex Atkins, I'm not trying to diminish Alex Atkins' role in the offense because he does game plan. That is a part of his job. He is not calling plays on Saturdays, though. That's the other guy. So when we maybe criticize certain decisions that are made within the course of a game, that's why it typically goes to Norvell and Atkins' name isn't brought up.
MyBookie.ag promo code is Warchant. What does it do, though, Aslan? What does it do? It gives you an instant cash deposit bonus based on a percentage of whatever you deposit into your account when you sign up for the first time over at MyBookie. You can bet on the NFL, obviously. You can bet in their live casino. That's open all the time. So you don't have to chase a loss on a Wednesday night. Let's say if Jacksonville State or Middle Tennessee State didn't work out in your favor, let's say. It's all there for you over at mybookie.ag. A reminder, the competition's back on because we bet responsibly over here. We waited for like 5 weeks of data before we put our names behind these picks to help out your weekends. It's all for entertainment, everybody. Probably shade us. Corey's picks, Texas A&M hosting Alabama and getting 2.5. Now it's 1.5. But I think Corey will stick with the Aggies. Aggies, 1.5 points they're getting at home against Alabama. He's going to take that one, although maybe don't use that, but it's going to be in your picks, Corey. It's going to be in the competition. And then Dion on the road in Tempe taking on Kenny, catching 4. He's going to go ahead and think that Dion's going to get it done. I'm going under on the 52.5 between Cal and Oregon State. It's now 51.5. I don't like that number, but we'll stick with what we did because Mama didn't raise no fool. And then Fresno. Will they finally lose? I think so. Now Wyoming's catching 6 at home, which would probably make me a little bit nervous, but we're gonna dig our heels in on that one. So I think Wyoming will cover +6 at home. So I got Wyoming +6. I've got the under on 52.5, 51.5, Oregon State and Cal. Corey's got Texas A&M +1.5, and he's got Colorado -4. Use your picks as you'd like over at mybookie.ag, where you can bet anything, anytime, anywhere. All right, Gio Noel, wake up. Hello, my awesome podcast crew. 100 emoji. Or maybe 100 for the rest of the year. I would do my best with the game plan for Jaden Daniels for the next 3 weeks. I would also leave the 2 starting linebackers in more than what they have been, and if I did run a second unit, it would be numbers 18 and 10. All right, that's fair. Yep. I would also try and let Conrad Hussey get some game experience before Miami. My question now for the both of you is, how big of a difference does Jammie Robinson make if he had returned? Much love to the best duo to ride with.
Yeah, very big. Look, I'll even go as far to say that if Jammie Robinson was on the team right now, they would be undefeated. How about that, Aslan?
I mean, I thought you were always scared about being on freezing cold takes, Corey. That was
I know,
putting your neck out there.
No, but I think he's a game-changing type player. He's a very good he was a very good safety for this program. Made a bunch of plays near the line of scrimmage. Was good in the run game. Just everything. He was good. He's a good player. I wish he was playing more with the Panthers. He's on their team. I looked him up the other day because he's the highest graded player on the team in special teams. But I don't think he's played a snap of defense yet for the Panthers. But he's on the team. He's making money. I just think, yes, Jammie Robinson would make this team. You would feel just that much better about this defense. He would be. He's a difference maker. I don't know how else to put it. He was an NFL player, and he's not on your team anymore.
Last one, but certainly not least, Gator Kirk, our guy in Virginia Beach. This one's got to be a big one for him. Wake up!
Yeah.
Who would you like to see on offense and defense have a breakout game versus Virginia Tech? Also, thanks for answering my sod question. Still don't believe it met the standard. Disappointed Mike Norvell would not hold it to the original standard. Are there still over-under questions posted on Warchant for games? Yeah, it's a competition with a form over on Google that you fill out, Gator Kirk, and you can actually win $25 to Garnet and Gold. So
nice.
By the time you're listening to this, I'll probably have the over-unders up. Corey, feel free to give me one for the game if you'd like.
By the time you're listening to this, the game will have started because this is the longest show in the history of podcasts. This is like a Joe Rogan show.
Oh, stop it. All right, offense, defense, breakout. Blake Nicholson on defense. Gio wants to see number 18 out there. How about Blake Nicholson, who did some really good work in coverage in practice this week?
I think he's their best cover linebacker already. I mean, it's not a high bar to clear. He's really good at it right now. It looks to be anyway. But he's a freshman. It would be nice if they could get some leads in these games where you'd feel comfortable putting him and, as he mentioned, Hussey out there, because you would like them to get game experience. It's just you're not going to do it at Clemson, and you probably thought you could do it in Boston, and then you melt it away. So it would be nice, at least a couple of games in this month, those guys got real game experience. Maybe with the ones too, because I think I have a feeling they want to play those guys. But it's hard. You got to pull the trigger, and you don't want to pull the trigger and then you give up an easy 6 because you've got a freshman on the field that doesn't quite know what he's doing yet.
All right, breakout game. If I gave you either Destin Hill or Trey Benson, and I know you can say one has been established on the national landscape, but just in terms of this season, who would you rather see break out, Corey? Would you rather see Destin Hill or Trey Benson break out?
Trey Benson.
Okay.
Just because of what it would mean for how the offense was performing.
Oh, but can you say the same thing for Destin Hill? I mean, shoot, if he goes 5 for like 100?
Well, yeah,
I guess breakout for him could technically also be 4 for 50.
A breakout for him would be 2 for 13. Yeah, I still think Benson, the overall importance he has to the team, like you've seen this offense, Jaheim Bell is their slot receiver right now, essentially. Yeah. This offense is still done pretty well in the passing game. I do want to see other guys get established. And I do want to see them become the weapons that I know they are, especially Destin Hill. I really think, Aslan, Destin Hill might be the best receiver on the team this time next year.
Okay,
he'll be the guy. I'm that high on him as a receiver. So I would like to see him become a part of the offense. But I just think Trey Benson has been a sleeping giant, and he needs to wake up.
I lied. There's actually 2 more. Let's go to.
What?
I'm kidding. Okay. We're done. We're done.
Right.
Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 3 o'clock. Stay connected to WarChant.com. Thumbs up for Corey sticking it out this entire time on the longest podcast in podcasting history. Thanks for hanging around, everybody. We'll do another show for you tomorrow, believe it or not. What we're going to talk about, who knows? We squeezed the stone, but we'll be back. All right, of course, we will not be back tomorrow because that would be Saturday, and that would be crazy. Just felt like we should have left the way the show was recorded in its full capacity, just so you could feel the fatigue starting to wear down on us. But we bared down. We made it happen. So thanks for listening, as always, everybody. Pre-game show, doors open, 12:30 Hotel Indigo on Saturday. Jeff Cameron, Tom Lang, getting you ready for the big game. ACC home opener, everybody. Post-game show, 10 to 15 minutes at the conclusion of the Virginia Tech-Florida State game. Gene Williams, Tom Lang, DeLuna Coffee, making it happen. Corey Clark, Irish O'Fell, Vitamin Energy Warchant wrap. That'll drop as well after the game. It'll all be at warchant.com. It'll all be on Warchant TV. That's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. Subscribe to warchant.com. Hit the thumbs up. Thanks for listening to the show. We'll plan it out better next week. We promise. We love all of you. Hit the thumbs up, please. For Corey, I'm Aslan. Thank you again for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.